Yo, listen, I got some game for y'all right quick. And I know that everybody go through this because I know everybody out there putting in work, trying to get it, trying to make it happen, trying to make something of yourself. And we all take L's, we all take losses. And I'm gonna tell y'all how you bounce back from a loss. Because we all gonna take losses, bro. Especially when you out here really grinding, really taking risks, just really trying to make something of yourself, like I said. The only way that you can bounce back from a loss is by just to continue to push forward, bro. Like that's as simple as it gets. But I'm gonna give y'all some more context. I'm gonna dig a little deeper. Just listen to me. Just walk with me right quick. Bro, when you take a loss, I think a loss is really, I think we've all heard this before. Like, a loss is just a lesson. But I genuinely think, like, that's God trying to test you and trying to see what you made of. That's a test. When you take a loss and you feel like you done took 2 steps forward but 3 steps back, fool, that's God asking you, like, do you really want what you're praying for? I'm going to keep it 100. And I think the only way to bounce back from a loss is to continue to keep pushing. Because you can't sit and dwell on no loss. You can't sit and dwell on no loss. You can't let no loss defeat you. You can't fold. We all gonna take losses, bro. And this is, you take big L's, you take small L's. You with me? You stack up your first 5,000 or 10,000 and you take a loss. And now you back down to 2,000. Now you back. It's just, bro, you gotta keep moving. You gotta do what you gotta do with that 2,000. You gotta get it back. You gotta figure out how to get back to that 10,000 and you know what I'm saying, and go beyond that. Like, you can't dwell on it. You can't sit there and just be like, because when people take losses, bro, they get depressed, they start to quit, they start to fold. And you failed the test. You failed the test. God is asking you, do you really want what you're praying for? Because I know if you on your knees every day, bro, you praying and asking God, like, please change my situation. Please let me, let this work for me, or whatever the case is. Oh, he gonna send you a test, bro. I done took L's. I still take L's to this day. And I hate taking L's. But at the end of the day, I try to find some positive in it. I try to make it, you know what I'm saying? I try to allow it to make me stronger instead of, you know what I'm saying, make me weaker and push me further away from the goal. Like, I'm like, bro, because the only thing that's gonna get you back from a loss is that momentum. And the only way that you can create momentum that's sustainable is if you continue to push forward. That's the only way. Once you stop, if you take that L and you stop, you got to start all over again. You got to start all over again. You got to start from ground zero because you done stopped. You done let the loss break you. You done let the loss, you know what I'm saying? You done folded. You hear me? So it's like, you got to just keep that momentum going, bro. If you took a loss, bro. It's nothing you could do about it. I don't want to hear you crying about it. I don't want to hear you complaining about it. I don't want to hear none of that, because at the end of the day, we all going to take losses, bro. And you got to understand, there's probably somebody out there taking a bigger loss than you, or has taken a bigger loss than you, and still figured out a way. You got to just figure out a way. You got to be relentless. A loss is a loss, bro. It is what it is. Like, especially if it's like a financial loss or something like that, you feel like you just got knocked down. Bro, I know that it's hard, I know that it's difficult, but you gotta just keep pushing forward. That's the only way you're gonna bounce back from any loss, if you just continue. Because if you've built up momentum to get to that point and you get knocked down, you at least know in your mind that you got to that point. You already did that already, so you know you can do it again. You know you could do it again. Just do the same thing that you was doing before. And if that L should have taught you a lesson, you hear me? That L should have taught you a lesson. It should have taught you, all right, bet, maybe don't do it like this next time. Maybe I won't do it like this next time. You see what I'm saying? You got to just make sure that you take a lesson from the L's that you take, fool. And you got to just keep pushing forward and keep that momentum going, bro. People take losses all the time. And you have to figure out, bro, you can't let that get you depressed, especially if you a man. Bro, we men out here, bro. I ain't trying to hear none of that. I get depression is real. I get all of that. That's cool. I've been through depression. I've seen it. But I will never in my life let a depressing moment or depressing thoughts stop me from getting to the goal. The goal is all that matters. The life that I want to live is all that matters. Being the best version of myself, becoming the best version of myself is the only thing that matters at the end of the day. So I got to keep pushing. I got to keep going. Because I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, though. I'm going to tell you what's going to happen, fool. I'm going to tell you this. Now, I'm going to say this. The worst thing that you can do is nothing when you take a loss. Shout out to you. The worst thing that you can do is nothing when you take a loss. The worst thing that you can do is nothing in anything in life. Because if you don't do nothing, you for sure won't make it. You for sure won't get to the goal. You for sure won't become the best version of yourself. You for sure won't change the position or situation that you in. The worst thing that you could do is nothing, bro. Real life, Slim. Like, that's one of the realest things that I heard. The worst thing that you could do is nothing, because it's like, what do you gain from that, fool? You get knocked down, all right, bet you take a loss and you just stop. You quit. You fold. You fold. You fold like a hoe, bro. Come on, Slim. You better than that. You better than that. It's bad. Get back to the point where you was at and just keep going from there. Don't even look at it as a loss, bro. Look at it like, all right, bet. Like, I learned something new. I'm a maneuver different this way. But the worst thing you could do is nothing, because people get knocked down and then they do nothing. They quit. They quit. They fold. They get in a depressing thought. They let their depressing thoughts get to them. They in the bed all day. Now they don't want to grind. Now they stop going to the gym. Now they stop trying to work on that business that they've been working on for the last year. You let one loss break you, Slim? The worst thing that you could do is nothing, fool. Because you miss 100%. You miss 100% of the shots that you don't take. And so, bro, a loss, bro, it is what it is. We all gonna take losses. You gonna continue to take losses, even when you get up. Even when you get up, even when that business is successful, when you got hundreds of thousands of dollars that you got access to, you got this, you got that going on, everything is going well for you, your family doing well, you healthy, whatever, you still gonna take losses. That's life. That's just how that go. But at the end of the day, I believe that's God trying to see if you really want it. He can't make it easy for you. It's not supposed to be easy. Ain't no growth in easy, bro. There's no progress in easy. There's no growth. If everything was just so easy, you wouldn't, you know what I'm saying? There would be no character built. It ain't gonna be easy. Nothing worth anything is easy, Slim. And so, when you get tested, bro, you just gotta keep moving forward. Figure out how to maneuver. Figure out how to better that situation. Figure out how to put yourself in a better position. Because that's all it is positioning, fool. But you can't just sit around and do nothing. You gotta bounce back. You gotta get back. You gotta get back on your feet. Always get back on your feet. Never lay down. Never retreat. Never surrender. We absolutely relentless. I don't care how many L's I took, bro. I could go all day about the L's I done took, the amount of money that I done lost in the past few years, bro. The amount of money that I done invested in stuff and lost, never got back, went broke, had to get it back again, went broke again, had to get it. Like, come on, bro. But I will never fold. I will never allow myself to just accept fate and say, oh man, this just ain't for me. I'ma quit. Come on, bro. Stop talking like a sucker. Stop allowing yourself to be a sucker. Stop allowing yourself to be soft. Stop allowing yourself to fold. Ain't no folding. You got to keep pushing. You got to keep moving, bro. That's just how it go. That's life. That's life. I don't care if you got $100 to your name or 100 million. You going to take a loss at some point in life. That's just what it is. And if you let it break you, if you fold, like, come on, bro. You ain't really want it. Because God going to throw those tests. God gonna throw those tests, and not everybody pass them. And I just believe that when you fail that test and you continuously fail tests, He say, you know what? Well, this just ain't for you. I'm gonna go ahead and get His blessing to somebody else. I'm gonna go ahead and get His blessing to somebody else because you don't want it bad enough. I gave you one test and you failed. You failed one time and you said, I'm done. You threw your hands up. Come on, Slim. You stronger than that. You better than that. Tighten up. We ain't worried about losses. We embrace losses. It is what it is. We mad in the moment. Don't get me wrong. You know what I'm saying? When you stack up, let's say you stack up that 10. Let's say you stack up, because time is hard right now. So let's say a person out there, they stack up 5,000 and they start to feel a little comfortable. Like, you know what I'm saying? They know that they not balling, they not going crazy, but they at least ain't living a paycheck to paycheck, and then they got a $3,000 repair on their car. And you mad? I know. You sick? I know. But if you got that 5,000 before, just do it again and now make the goal even bigger. Now try to get to 10,000. But that's the only thing you can do, because what is the alternative? The alternative is just saying, oh man, I just took an L. I'ma just stop doing I'ma just lose all of the momentum that I had built up. and I'ma fold. Come on, man, tighten up. Ladies, fellas, whoever watching, when you take an L, you gotta just continue to push forward. Whatever that means for you, whatever lane you in, whatever loss you took, you have to just get back up. Anytime you get knocked down, you have to always get back up, brush yourself off, and just continue to push forward. And because the more momentum you build, those L's start to not affect you as much because you start to be farther along in life, if you get what I mean. Let's say you do stack up that, let's say you stack up that 5, you get knocked back down to 2. But you continue to go, you get back up to 5, you get back to 7, then you get back to 10. Now you at 10, now you at 12, now you at 15,000 or whatever the case is, just speaking like financially. And then you take another $3,000 loss. All right, bet you took another loss, but now you took a loss, but you continue to keep pushing. So now the loss don't hurt as bad. It's still 3,000, but you still got 12,000 versus as before, you only had 5. You see what I'm saying? I don't know if y'all got what I'm saying. It makes sense to me. It makes sense to me. And if you know money, you get what I'm saying. If you ever ran up any type of money, you know what I'm talking about. That may go over some of y'all head. I don't know. But I will say this. Continue to keep pushing. Regardless of the L that you take, continue to keep pushing. I take L's. I just took an L. I ain't gonna lie to them. I just took an L, bruh. I just took an L. But I don't even, for me, it's just like, it come with the program. It come with being great, because I know I'm great and I know I'm gonna be great. So it's just like I just keep pushing. You ain't gonna never see me sweat. You ain't gonna never see me fall. I'm gonna just keep pushing. I just took an L. I just took a loss. You know what I did? I continue to keep pushing. I'm still moving. I just work harder. When I take an L, I work harder. I take an L, I work harder. That's what you do. Take an L equals work harder. That's the only thing. Because what's the alternative? The alternative is the quit. The alternative is the fold. But that's not an option for me. So I don't know. Maybe that's some people. Maybe you could do that. Maybe you could fold, but we just not the same. You know what I'm saying? We're not the same. Life ain't supposed to be easy. Life ain't supposed to be given to you. Well, a good life is not supposed to be given to you as you become an adult. You got to get out here. You got to make your own opportunities. You got to keep pushing, because everybody taking L's. Inflation hit everybody. Layoffs hit a lot of people. A lot of people hurting right now, Slim. But guess what? They got to keep pushing, and they still have to figure out how to make a way. So you ain't the only one. So you crying and complaining and acting like, oh my God, the world is over. The world is crashing down. Guess what, bro? Somebody probably living right next door to you that's probably going through something worse. They probably just lost a family member they got to bury. I'm grateful every day. When you take a loss, be grateful. Be grateful that you even have the opportunity to bounce back from the loss. Now, I get some things are worse than others. Some things take a little bit more time. I get that. But even when you deal with those big losses, you still got to move forward, because life goes on. You can't sit and dwell on it. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. I'll see y'all in another one.